Zeus of Dodona stands at only 1 foot tall and 1/2 inch tall, but it holds incredible historical significance. Unfortunately, there are very few pictures of the Zeus, especially the one that resides in Russia, as there are two. It was created in the 4th century BC. As you can see, the Zeus holds minor cultural significance in Greece, as seen on this postage stamp. While this is not the Zeus that resides in Russia, this Zeus is an excellent example of early ideologies of classical artwork. The Zeus of Dodona is a nearly perfect representation of the beginnings of Western art, and therefore must be preserved at all costs. The provenance of the bronze is largely unknown, as it had been missing from 1945 until 2013. The most likely assumption is that the Zeus was taken from Greece by German archaeologists sometime between 1900 and 1930. Unfortunately, this is almost impossible to confirm. There is little known about it besides what can gather from its name, which is only its country in origin. Dodona, the original home of the Zeus, was also the home of the second most revered oracle in all of Greece, second only to the oracle at Delphi. Both are highly cited in Greek mythology. The sanctuary resides in southwestern Greece in the Epirus region, as seen here on the map. The oracle of Zeus at Dodona received pilgrims from the neighboring Acarnanians, Aetolians, and Boeotians, who claimed special connections to the site due to their proximity. The Athenians also consorted with the oracles during the Peloponnesian Wars. The oracle received its prophecies from a variety of stimuli, such as the moanings of a sacred oak tree, where the god Zeus was said to reside. The oracle then interpreted these stimuli as messages from Zeus or predictions of the future. The site is cited in the Iliad and described by Homer as the stormy abode of priests known as Selli, who slept on the ground and did not wash their feet. This refers to the fact that the early sanctuary, as cited by Homer, had no buildings. This was near the beginning of its 1500-year history. For many years there were priests that tended to the temple, but they were later replaced by priestesses sometime in the 400s AD. The site developed into a bustling acropolis, housing multiple temples and a theater. It was later built upon by Christian builders. Hitler, and therefore the Nazis, thought of classical art such as the Zeus of Dodona as a representation of their greater German race. In order to justify and rationalize this ideology, the Nazis created the belief that the Greeks were in fact Germanic. This belief was not necessarily held by the entirety of the Nazi Party, but it was a part of their all-encompassing mythology and ideology. Amte Rosenberg, a chief archaeologist, may or may not have thought that the Germans were descendants of survivors of the mythical city of Atlantis, and that the Jews were descendants of those who opposed those survivors, creating the never-ending struggle of the master race. Zeus is an idealistic depiction of a god, which is something Hitler wanted as a representation of greater and ancient Germany, and was housed in the Berlin Museum for some time. For background, provenance is the collection of all transactions involving a piece of art, detailing the places where it has resided as well as its owners. As I mentioned earlier, the Zeus currently resides in the Pushkin Museum in Moscow, Russia. It was displayed as a part of the Archaeology of War exhibit, but cannot be found anywhere on the Pushkin's website, which is the only resource available to Americans and almost anyone outside of Russia or not well connected to the Russian art scene. All information on its whereabouts is secondhand, although it has been acknowledged by the museum director as residing in the Pushkin in 2013. Since then, it has once again become obscured and most likely residing in the Pushkin, but not on display. The Zeus was taken from Germany during the Soviet push into Berlin and was stored in ash mixed with sawdust during the invasion. When the Zeus was first shipped to Russia in the 1940s, those handling it noticed it was badly burned due to the bombing of Berlin. It has been restored over the last 60 years by Russian experts in conservation. Russia has done the world an immense favor by restoring all these pieces, but needs to further its efforts by returning the pieces they looted to their rightful owners. In this case, the rightful owner is Germany, the German state to be exact, as these pieces have been linked to the Berlin State Museum, and they were taken from Germany with no license or title. Although the Russians took the pieces and protected them, the rules associated with warfare and the looting that is often involved explicitly state that the deliberate theft of artwork and all possessions of a sovereign nation is forbidden, and therefore Russia is bound by international law to return the Zeus to Germany, as well as all of the other pieces that were taken from the Berlin Museum, numbering at roughly 50,000. Not as simple as one would believe, because the Russian people believe that the looted pieces are rightfully theirs and see them as a form of reparations for those who died in the war. Unfortunately, Russian curators and government officials are bound by public opinion. The simple solution becomes less simple when millions of lives are linked to the artwork displayed in the Spoils of War exhibit. The Zeus of Dodona is a minor cultural icon, but it holds huge significance in history, and through its provenance is an example of the difficulties involved with repatriation and reparation.